This is what we did in science on October 14th, 2020. We talked about the different groups of animals that are amphibians, fish, and insects. We first started talking about an amphibian. Most amphibians have smooth and wet skin. Toads are amphibians with rough, bumpy skin. Amphibians lay their eggs in water. Young amphibians live in the water. Most grown amphibians live on land. And we gave an example of a picture of an amphibian, which this is of a frog. This frog has smooth skin, so if you feel it, it's gonna feel smooth. And then the frog has four legs for hopping, right? The frog hops. So one, two, three, four. Then we moved on to a fish. Fish has many body parts that help them live in water. Most fish have scales. The scales help keep their bodies safe. Fish have fins to swim. They have gills to take oxygen. So again gave an example of a picture, and this is a fish that has scales. You look closely and it has scales, and then its fins help it to swim, and then its gills helps it to breathe. And then the last group we talked about was an insect. An insect has three body parts and six legs. A hard shell keeps its body safe. Some animals look like insects, but they are not. A spider has eight legs. It is not an insect. And then we looked at an insect, which was an ant. This ant has six legs. One, two, three, four, five, six. And then it has an antenna to touch and feel things. So this has an antenna to touch and feel things. And it has three parts to its body: one, two, and three. And then the last thing we did in science was do this activity where we put an X on an animal that is not a mammal, which was this ant, and we put a circle on the animal that is an amphibian, which is this frog. Then I just went over the asynchronous work for day 3. They will do a matching activity, which they will match each of these animals and put them in the right category. Then they will do a collage, which means they will either draw or find pictures in a magazine or over the internet and of one of the different groups of animals, and then write two reasons why that the animal that they chose is part of that particular group. Then the last thing the students would do for their asynchronous work is a quiz. And that's what we discussed in science on October 14th, 2020.